This is ABC15 Mornings.
A huge effort for COVID-19 testing this weekend. Arizona's testing blitz is underway, and the numbers are already pouring in.
And reopening resistance. Local business owners describe what it's like to watch their businesses fight to stay open during this pandemic.
Plus, caught on camera, a packed Lake Pleasant making social distancing almost impossible for anybody who is out this weekend. So we've got that reminder to keep your distance, stay safe, even as you're trying to beat this heat, because we know everybody's trying to get creative when it comes to that too. So we say good morning to all of you early risers, 6 o'clock on this Sunday. I'm Nohelani Graff.
And I'm Mark Thompson, social distancing from home. And Nohe, for people who do want to get out and maybe get a little exercise in, coming up next week, later this week, you might have to start getting up with the sunrise, you know?
Truly, you might even have to beat it, because when that sun is up come Wednesday, Thursday, you're really not going to want to spend any time outside. So we'll start with the good news. Sunny and breezy today. Yep, similar to yesterday. And we're going to extend the 90s, a little bit cooler today and into tomorrow. We're keeping the 90s around, but then we've got that big warm up that's coming next week. So you're really going to get that perspective. So iced coffee has certainly been the order of the day, but I still think you could take it out on the patio at this time. Maybe you're virtually watching your church services, so enjoy that cup of joe outside while you listen. 73 right now in the Phoenix metro area, and that sunrise is officially up. Came up about 20 minutes ago. We're going to stay in the upper 70s by 8, and by 9 we're already in the 80s, but still mild enough to get outside. We're going to talk more about this big warm up, though, that's on the way, and how warm we will get today coming up in just a little bit. First for you at 6, though, we have some breaking news that we're tracking this morning. DPS troopers are investigating a rollover crash that does involve several vehicles. This happened about 30 minutes ago on the I-10 near 339th Avenue, so the far West Valley. Troopers there tell us that a commercial vehicle and a passenger car were involved, and they say it was the commercial vehicle that rolled over and even ignited a brush fire. So fire and emergency crews are also on scene working to put the flames out. In the meantime, all westbound traffic is being diverted off of the freeway at 339th Avenue right now. We're still working to get more information about any injuries and the status of the people involved. And as we learn more, we will update you. Tracking more wildfires in Arizona, you're looking at video of the stage fire from our Cliff Castle chopper. We've learned this fire was avoidable, though. Investigators tell us this one was human caused. Just last night, crews did have the flames about 50% contained, but that's before they covered 260 acres already. This fire is burning just off of the I-17 north of Anthem. Also, the Walla fire is now fully contained. This one in the Tonto National Forest in the Four Peaks recreation area. So just be mindful as you're out there. Wildfire season, it's early, but it is upon us. Now we want to get to the coronavirus. Yesterday marking the first of 3 Saturdays in what Arizona leaders are calling a testing blitz. We stopped by several locations that are trying to get as many people tested as possible, and their hope is to better understand the spread of COVID-19 in Arizona. Already, some of those testing numbers are actually in. Coconino County reporting 287 people were tested on Saturday. The medical director at Redirect Health tells us that they are hoping to test, or they did test about 100 people at their 5 facilities, and they do expect even bigger crowds next weekend. Keep in mind, results take up to 72 hours, so it's going to be a minute before we see those factored in to the state numbers. But in the coming days, we do expect those COVID-19 cases to rise as we test more people. Before this weekend's testing blitz, state numbers showed 8,300 cases of COVID-19, with 348 deaths statewide, Mark.
Yeah, and Governor Doug Ducey says that testing is the key to reopening the state. But as we've been showing you, a lot of businesses are saying that they are not waiting and they're going to be reopening in defiance of the governor's orders. Adam Waltz takes a closer look.
Risk it or lose it all. That's the mindset of local business owners.
For us to be able to survive and other small businesses to survive, we have to do what we can.
A local business owner who asked to remain anonymous, describing what it's like to watch their small business fight to stay open during the COVID-19 pandemic.
It's a catch-22. If you don't do takeout or don't do enough business as takeout, you're going to wind up closing anyway. We risk losing our business either way.
Governor Doug Ducey drawing a clear line in the sand for restaurants and bars considering opening their seating areas.
This is an order that is enforceable by law. A violation is a $2,500 fine and up to 6 months in jail. And for those that own an establishment and are publicly going to flaunt the order, you are playing with your liquor license. Don't do that.
Urging small businesses to open in spite of the governor's threat, a newly formed group called Great 48.
Our base assumption is that, there's some civil and constitutional rights that are being infringed upon.
Great 48 founder Jeremy Wood, who was hosting a barbecue for those small business owners, believes the government is violating their Fifth Amendment rights, and he says closing businesses falls under that amendment.
We feel like someone being able to provide for their family is part of that right.
Shortly after this interview, multiple people making a statement by tearing caution tape off playground equipment and tables, one of whom wearing a Great 48 shirt, however, wouldn't answer our questions.
Do you mind telling us what your motivation is behind taking down the caution tape?
Great 48 is hosting a peaceful rally Sunday at noon at the Arizona Capitol building, demanding Governor Ducey reopen the economy.
We believe the more effective path is going to be to mobilize, a lot of people and get our voices heard, and we don't plan on stopping here.
Adam Waltz, ABC 15, Arizona.
So again, the stay-at-home order does continue until about mid-May. So let's walk through that reopening timeline. Once again, elective surgeries restarted on Friday. Tomorrow, Monday, retail stores can open, but shopping has to be by appointment, delivery, or pickup. And then those restrictions loosen just a little bit more next Friday. Shoppers will actually be allowed in stores, but dressing rooms will still be closed. Governor Ducey has also set a target date of May 12th for restaurants to begin letting people dine in again, but he says that it will look a little different when they do, and they're still working on that plan. As of right now, the stay-at-home order is set to expire for everyone on May 15th.
And warmer temperatures and eased restrictions, they are causing some new problems for local and statewide governments. ABC's Ty Hernandez has more details.
April 30th and May 1st marked the deadliest 48 hours in the U.S. fight against COVID-19, according to the World Health Organization. More than 4,900 people died. With COVID-19 cases dropping in some areas, increasing in others, governors across the country are dealing with a difficult decision: when to reopen. In Mississippi, the governor is pausing his plans after the state saw its largest single-day increase, nearly 400 new cases and 20 new deaths.
This was a large enough change to make me take a step back and want to look at the board, to re-examine things. And I've come to the conclusion that I must hold on for now.
Gallup, New Mexico on lockdown as the number of cases there surges. Every road surrounding the city now closed. In Chicago, Mayor Lori Lightfoot with a strong warning for anyone hosting or attending large house parties.
We will shut you down, we will cite you, and if we need to, we will arrest you and we will take you to jail. Period. There should be nothing unambiguous about that. You are risking your own health. You are bringing death to their doorstep.
In New York City, 1,000 additional officers are on patrol to enforce social distancing as the weather turns warm. And in China, where the pandemic originated, U.S. intelligence officials accusing China of deception. A report from the Department of Homeland Security obtained by ABC News says, quote, the Chinese government intentionally concealed the severity of COVID-19 in early January while while it stockpiled medical supplies. The report claims they increased imports and decreased exports, choking off supplies to nations in dire need. Chinese officials are pushing back against the allegations. Ty Hernandez, ABC News, New York.
Now back here at home, it was a busy weekend at Lake Pleasant. Our Cliff Castle chopper flying over the wreck area yesterday afternoon. And we did see quite a few people in the water, and not everyone appeared to be keeping their distance. So a reminder that even if you are heading out there and you make it in time, you do still need to stay 6 feet apart from other people. See, the docks are pretty crowded there. You've got to keep that social distance. This does still apply to you as well. But of course, we understand people are trying to seek relief from the heat. So if possible, maybe head out to the pool if you have access to one and stay at your own home. 97 that forecast high for today. So definitely look for ways to stay cool, even if it means pulling out the garden hose. There is a 15-minute burn time though, so make sure you're putting on lots of sunscreen and reapplying often. That's the key. Our air quality in the moderate zone, and we'll see some light breezes again today, very similar to what we saw yesterday here in the valley, around 5 to 10 miles an hour, mostly in the second half of the afternoon. Up in northern Arizona, stronger breezes with gusts up to 30 miles an hour. So I'm going to walk you through the timing of these winds, when they're going to pick up statewide, and also a look at that extended forecast, the big warm up that is on the way for the valley. That's coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Nohe, thank you. Well, check out this video coming to us from Chandler, the high school graduates there, lining up, of course, 6 feet apart so family and friends can drive by to cheer them on. The students are all seniors from Hamilton, Basha, and Perry High School. Great way to celebrate for them. All right, well, coming up, the FBI is on the lookout for a man accused of firing shots at officers earlier this week. How you can help.
Plus a chance to make a difference. You can help those struggling to put food on the table through these tough times. We're going to show you who best to reach out for. But first, we leave you with a live look outside of Camelback Mountain, a gorgeous start to this toasty Sunday morning. Thanks for waking up with us, Arizona.
This morning, the FBI is asking for your help in locating a fugitive. Officials say that Cecil Vigil Jr. assaulted a federal officer this week. It happened on the Navajo Nation. Officials say that they are investigating another crime as well, and then they went to the suspect's home when he fired shots at law enforcement officers. Luckily, no one was injured in all of this. Anyone with information is asked to call 911. There is an award for information that leads to an arrest. Now, yesterday we told you about the MESA Cares food drive. Well, this morning we're sharing with you that you can still donate even if you weren't able to get out there yesterday. There will be different drop-off locations set up over the next few weeks, and you can check out those locations on mesanow.org. Also, as temperatures continue to rise, a new study shows that farmers could face harsher work conditions. Right now, farmers across the U.S. experience an average of 21 days a year where temperatures exceed safety standards, which is about 80 degrees Fahrenheit. The study suggests that that number could nearly double to 39 by 2050 if there is more global warming of at least 2 degrees Celsius. Now, if temperatures do increase by, say, 4 degrees Celsius, there could be 62 unsafe days by 2100.
When we talk about that most accurate forecast, we know that temperatures are rising and they're getting hotter sooner. In fact, look at the almanac for today. So our forecast high is 97 degrees. Our average for this time of year should be 91. We should just be starting to warm into the 90s, but obviously we were well into the triple digits a week ago already. Fortunately, we're still a ways off from the record high that was set on this day back in 1947, so it was a lot fewer and far between that we would see temperatures like this. Here's how we warm up today. We're in the 70s for a little bit longer. By 9 o'clock, we warm into the 80s. We'll linger there through 11 o'clock this morning, so that's a pretty decent time if you still want to get outside, get some exercise in, walk the dog, walk around your neighborhood. Then by noon, we're in the 90s already, so you could still have lunch outside, but you're definitely going to want a little fan set up next to you because it's going to start to feel toasty. 93 by 1 o'clock. We'll also have some light breezes here in the valley. More on that in just a moment. First, our temperatures right now statewide still sitting in the 20s at the Grand Canyon. Hard to believe that they can even get that cold still as the rest of us are warming up, but true enough. And in Flagstaff, starting off in the upper 30s this morning. Window Rock sitting at 39 degrees, but we're in the mid 50s in Show Low. Prescott, you're waking up this morning to 47 degrees, so nice and brisk out there if you're taking a walk in the Prescott area this morning. Here in the valley, more comfortable temperatures. 64 in Surprise. Wickenburg down to 60 degrees. Doesn't that sound nice considering how warm we've been? 63 in Chandler right now. We are at 69 in Fountain Hills and a couple of 70s out there in Apache Junction and Scottsdale as well so far. Now, valley highs for today, we've got quite the warm up. 97 is the forecast high in Goodyear and Peoria, as well as Tempe and Mesa. Chandler and Gilbert looking to warm to 98 degrees. Anthem and Cave Creek going to stay in the low 90s for today. So toasty certainly still, but at least we're not in the triple digits. So we're backing off just a little bit. 97 in Casa Grande as well as Tucson for today. 98 in Yuma. Bullhead City and Lake Havasu City going to come close to the century mark though. If you're up in Sedona, a nice day for you. 84 degrees. You'll have some light breezes today. Payson, cooler than that, staying in the 70s for today. Show Low will be at 78 degrees and very similar temperatures up in Window Rock. Now, talking about those breezes, here's how this times out. So we put Futurecast into motion, and you can see right around noon is when we expect those winds to pick up across the high country from Show Low up through Window Rock and across to the Grand Canyon and Bullhead City down to Prescott and Payson. We're talking about sustained winds around 15 to 20 miles an hour, but we could see the occasional gust around 25 or 30 miles an hour in the high country. The winds will keep blowing through the mid-afternoon, and that's when they start to pick up here in the valley and to our south in Casa Grande and Tucson, as well as Gila Bend. Right around 3 o'clock today, our winds go to about 10 miles an hour, and then they're going to stay there through the early evening hours. In the high country, the breezes back off right around 8 o'clock this evening. Going to take us a little longer in the Phoenix metro area. But because of those winds, the high temperatures, low humidity, that does mean that you have to be careful out there because those are wildfire factors. So you want to be mindful of that. And we stay warm through tomorrow, but again, in double digits for your Monday. 99 is the high. On Tuesday, on Cinco de Mayo, that's when the triple digits return. So I think margarita is probably going to be in order, at least something slushy and cold. On Wednesday and Thursday, we get hotter still, more extreme heat returning. 107 the forecast high through the middle of the week. Now we're going to look ahead to next weekend and see if there's any relief in sight, if we'll back off from 107. That's coming up in that 7-day in just a little bit, Mark.
Hey, thank you. 6:19 now on your Sunday morning. Does that stay-at-home order have you making more trips to the fridge? Yes, over this way. We're talking to an expert who will share how to stay on track while you're stuck at home.
I can't lie, it's me too. So in college, you probably heard about the freshman 15. These days, it's the quarantine 15, as more of us are maybe taking one too many trips to the refrigerator as we stay home. So we want to help you get back on track or stay on track if you've been one of the better ones. So joining us this morning is Dr. Gina Kadar, certified nutrition specialist and the dean of school at nutrition at Southwest College of Naturopathic Medicine. Dr. Kadar, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
So let's talk a little bit about how we got into this space of endless snacking and, repeatedly going to the refrigerator right now.
For better or worse, forced into adopting some good habits that actually may have positive benefits over time when it comes to what we eat. So for example, we are cooking more than ever. We're eating at home, we're eating out less, we're choosing to eat more foods that we're creating from our pantry rather than eating fast food. We're also for some of us, depending on who we're quarantined with, we're eating more with family or with friends, whether physically present together or virtually. But that social connection around food also is more commonplace these days for some of us. And all of these behaviors are things that are associated with reduced risk of diet-related chronic disease like heart disease or type 2 diabetes. So these are some of the behaviors that we're forced into during quarantine, but are good things that we can continue on with after this all ends.
So you mentioned people cooking at home. And I definitely, like many others, have noticed that everybody is a baker now on social media. Everyone has made a loaf of bread. But you're saying there are some ways that we can maybe keep ourselves on track with the ingredients that we are finding in our pantry, or if you're making that sporadic trip to the store of what you're picking up to cook at home.
Yeah, I think definitely. So of course, eating at home does not always mean that or cooking at home doesn't mean we're always cooking healthfully, but we can certainly take comfort foods that sort of satisfy that craving that we're drawn to during times of stress and upgrade them. So for example, instead of having the French fries that are deep fried, baking sweet potato fries is a nice, quick and easy upgrade that still satisfies that itch, but provides much greater benefits nutritionally speaking. And having foods that are, I love, one of my favorites is, instead of ice cream, having little frozen banana slices or frozen berries. And this can satisfy that craving for something sweet and cold. And so looking for ways to upgrade our comfort food cravings with healthier choices is a good place to start.
Should we be looking at how many times we're going to the refrigerator and snacking? Because it also is, we're bored and we just keep checking. So is there a way to monitor that?
Sometimes we confuse emotional hunger, like boredom, sadness, loneliness, any of these emotions, with actual true hunger. And obviously food doesn't satisfy those types of cravings. And so, one good strategy is getting on a regular schedule when it comes to eating. A good practice all the time is, every 3 to 4 hours, no more than that, having a little snack or a meal, but being wary of sort of progressively snacking throughout the day. If you still are tempted, one great strategy is keep your home a nutritional safe haven. So make it easy to reach for the healthier snacks.
Maybe we'll carry some of these habits that we create at home into our daily life when we do go back into work. If people have more questions, they want to talk to a nutritionist, how can they get in touch? Where's your school located?
So we are based in beautiful Tempe. People can, if they want actually more personalized guidance and advice with regard to their health overall or nutrition specifically, people can learn more at scnm.edu.
All wonderful information. Dr. Kadar, thank you so much for your time and for your tips that I know I will be putting to use.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.